KOTG Tuesday. Hey-o!
All right.
There.
What is up, fellas?
All right.
What's up, guys?
Good evening.
Welcome back to KOTG Tuesday.
That's right.
Welcome back, Jack.
All
Welcome
right.
back, Jack.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be back.
Heck yeah.
Got an exciting chat going already in there. Lots of people in there. Good to
Yeah.
see.
We got the Earthworks for Home guy going.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Organic
LTZ's
fertilizer.
Still beating everybody. He comes in 33 minutes early. I don't know if anybody
every
else is
week.
beating that.
Every week.
He's ready to go.
He's got to
Hell
keep
yeah.
it up.
Hell yeah, it is.
We got Nate in the chat. He'll be joining us a little bit later this evening, but
Yeah, man. Kids sports keep us busy now. This
Yeah.
time of year, it feels like you're running from one place to the next. And I only have one kid playing sports right now, but he's doing soccer and baseball. So we're still splitting time different nights of the week. So I can't imagine having 2 or 3 kids all in different sports at once. It's just crazy.
It's a lot, dude. It's a lot.
You got that going, Brad?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Both my
I got
kids
that
are
going.
multiple sports, multiple running around. Had stuff last night, had stuff tonight, got stuff tomorrow. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, tonight we're talking grass.
We are.
This is
grass.
Keep Off the Grass. Welcome everybody. Welcome everyone in the live chat. Let's all raise a glass. Keep off the glass. Keep off the grass.
Keep off the glass.
Keep off the glass, everyone.
I got my new Mountain Dew Summer Freeze. It tastes like I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a rocket popsicle. Remember the rocket popsicles?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I know one guy that definitely knows about the rocket pops.
Man, I wish I had that ready.
His name would be
memory of
Dave.
him.
Does Utah get all these exclusive flavors, or are those available around? Am I just not looking hard enough?
They
Everybody
must.
gets them, as far as I know, but could be wrong.
That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool. Trying out different stuff. All right.
He calls
Well,
it the bomb pop. Yeah.
Yeah, the bomb pop.
All right.
Olee, who do we have joining us tonight?
Mhm.
What are we doing this evening?
This guy here,
I
don't know.
We know that, man.
I don't know this guy. Jack Higgins, super knowledgeable fella. I can't wait for him to give some knowledge on these soil tests and give people an idea of where to go and what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think since I've been on, I was at your place, right, Olee? Like I was there.
No.
Yeah, you were on it. You were at his place after.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can let me attest. It is pure fescue. Some of the purest 3 acres of fescue you've ever seen. Plush like a pillow.
It's thick.
Yep.
It will levitate
Drone
you.
shots aren't hiding stuff.
So what?
So the drone shots aren't hiding stuff. You're saying, Jack?
No. The drone tells the good picture, but like It's nice. It's nice. Plus, it was like 45 degrees the night that we were walking around there. So it was crispy and real
yeah.
fresh, real nice.
It was
Older
cold to me, but
Yeah,
you
oh,
liked
it's
it.
cold. I liked it.
Yeah.
I like
Roscoe
brisk
running around.
mornings, brisk evenings, and nice, hot days. I like that temperature variation. If it's hot day and night, that gets a little smothering. But yeah, keep
Well-
it crisp at night.
Well, see, the problem then is we were having beautiful weather, and things were starting to crank, and then we dipped. So I was already t-shirt and shorts. I was already living North Carolina weather, and then it dipped that day. I mean, it just dipped for several days.
Yeah, but that cool season grass doesn't mind a 45-degree night. It loves it.
Just I do.
You. I mean, if it's doing that 35-degree temperature swing and getting 45 to 80, it loves it.
Mm-hmm.
It loves it.
So Jack's on here tonight. We're going to look at some of our soil tests and some viewer submitted tests, and he hasn't seen them yet, so it's all like this isn't like scripted or anything. We're going to pull them up. He's going to look at them. We're going to talk about it, ask questions, and we're going to go from there. So
Yeah, we've had a lot of people we've done soil tests. We've talked about soil tests. We preach soil tests, but then everybody's like, and then what? What do we do now? I've got my soil test. What do we do now? So Jackson,
What next?
What do we do after you get your soil test?
Mm-hmm.
This will be informative because you're dead on. Like, how do you react to the soil test? The soil test is only as good as what the next step is. So that's what we can talk about.
all right. Well,
Let's do it.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Well, Bill, we can start with you if you want.
Sure.
So right here's your I don't really know what graph you call this, Jack. And then we actually have the raw soil test data after this. So we can start with this and then go into that if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just a pictorial and a snapshot of the real important elements and aspects of the soil test. So this is very visual and kind of lets you know where the biggest limiting factor is and what you should attack first. And I think you can kind of see here that P and K, phosphorus and potassium, are certainly the most deficient. But then you also kind of want to get a sense of what might be excessive and limiting us on the too much of it around sort of thing. And on this test, we can see that magnesium and sodium are both very high, and they probably actually play into each other being high. And that is that the sodium's high because the magnesium's high. So when magnesium's high, and this is 24% on the base saturation, and it's right there on the graph, but the graph also shows it well into the red. It's obviously high. So these tests also put out kind of a little bit of explanation, in paragraph form of what I'm saying now. But anyway, when the magnesium's high, the soil gets very tight, and it's really especially tight when moisture is evaporating readily. When soil moisture is readily evaporating or transpiring through the plant, i.e., in the summertime. In the summertime, when you're dealing with a soil of really high magnesium and you have very high ET, evapotranspirative rate, when the ETs are high, that soil has a tendency to turn into like a brick, because that it is, that's the way you make bricks, with really thick, tight, high mag clay soil. And so that's kind of the battle with high mag soil. So as it relates to sodium, a very tight soil won't flush a lot of nutrient, or won't flush a lot of soluble contaminant. That's what I'm trying to say. And you could see here in the contaminants section of this. And by the way, where we were talking about magnesium, we label that section of the rec sheet here as, or that section of the soil test sheet as soil compaction. So that's really what we're talking about in that first block. So the soil has pretty high compaction right now because of the high magnesium, and certainly has a tendency and a potential to get really tight. And that'll all compound with use, with traffic, if you're out on it a lot. So anyway, it's tight and it can't flush the sodium that's there. So the sodium starts to build. And also you say, like, well, where's the sodium coming from? It's often coming from irrigation water. It could be coming from fertilizer as well, but it's often coming from irrigation water. And again, because it's tight, that irrigation water sits up top. And when we're talking about evaporation, it's H2O that's evaporating out. But all the solutes, the solutes that are in that water, if you run a water test, you would see that it's not pure distilled water. There's a certain amount of sodium,
You get some minerals and
minerals. Yeah. Bicarbonates. There's minerals in the water anyway. So, but they stack because the H2O is evaporating out. Super hot out, 90 degrees out in St. Louis for about 4 months. That's where you are, Bill, right?
Oh yeah, we had a pretty hot stretch there for a hot minute.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean and you do irrigate?
I haven't really yet. I've used it maybe during that period of time, like towards the tail end of it, when I could see that it was starting to get real crispy, kind of go dormant. I busted out the sprinkler with a timer and would kind of put it in one area on a Monday before work, and then move it when I go to work on Tuesday. Each morning, kind of hit each zone like that for the week.
Right.
But I haven't set up my irrigation to kind of do it, twice a week on a schedule yet. Right.
And so, this is just the sort of things that will happen, in using particularly city water. Are you city?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
we have really hard water out here for sure. I mean, it's pretty bad. We have a water softener too in the house to kind of help.
Exactly.
That's how bad it is. So yeah, and I'm sure with irrigation, that they may have used sprinklers and stuff because the lawn was in good shape when we moved in last year. So very well could be that they do water more so than not. Maybe not as much as I would, but a little bit. And then maybe it's just a soil structure. It's the house has been there for quite a while. I don't think it's been aerated. I think it had minimal upkeep on the lawn. So some of that stuff kind of builds over time too with rainfall and the hot Missouri summers and thing, I would imagine.
Does that add up? What I'm saying? Do you feel like the soil is tight?
Yeah, I'm excited to aerate. I'm gonna get a one of those. I'm gonna go rent one myself and get like a U-Haul truck to bring it down to my house and do it myself. Rather than having somebody come out and do it, I'm gonna hit it real thorough. So I'm pumped. I want to kind of loosen that soil up for sure.
Okay, excellent. And so there is then opportunity to do some corrective amendments while that soil's opened up as well to really like make a difference. And so that's certainly the Earthworks for Home garden product, the garden granular, that's a great product to be getting in the holes at that point when the soil's opened up. And there's also opportunity, and you'll see it in the recommendations that would come on this soil test to get some gypsum down.
Yes,
to get some.
That was definitely the recommendation. 10 pounds per 1,000. So I got a big old bag of that.
Perfect.
Put that down to kind of help. I guess that
I
helps.
got a question about that. So if we're putting down gypsum on a soil test like this, wouldn't that raise the calcium level and then make it more tight?
Excellent question. So gypsum, yes, is straight calcium. It's calcium sulfate. It's being calcium sulfate as opposed to calcium carbonate, which is limestone, like a high cal lime. It's a much more soluble calcium. So and it's in as far as making the soil tighter, the calcium's in actually perfect, ideal location here. And you won't be stacking much calcium from the gypsum because it is so soluble. The calcium carbonate would stick around for a much longer time and have a large opportunity to get onto the soil colloid. And really then the carbonate in the calcium carbonate affects pH, but the calcium sulfate is far more soluble and will really kind of just flush through, but it works best because this soil's so tight when you're in conjunction of opening it up, of aerifying, like you're saying, Bill. So like all the calcium, the gypsum and the the garden, the Earthworks for Home garden would be great at aerification.
Yeah, I did the gypsum this spring after getting the results, just because I wanted that, going into the season. But then, next fall when I do my overseed with my aeration, I want to do the garden, the 333 with the mycorrhiza after doing the aeration and throw some gypsum down, and then do my seed. Kind of hit it with all that to see what, while I got the soil opened up, get some of that down in there, so it's there, and then throw some seed on top and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the move. That's definitely the move. And aerifying will be an important practice for you moving forward for the next, certainly for at least the next couple of seasons, because the magnesium is so high, very high. So yeah, let's see, the nutrient holding capacity up there, 15.7 CEC. That's a very high potential soil. You hold on to a lot of nutrient. And that is, as I know, to be pretty classic Missouri, Mississippi River types clay. Like it's breadbasket, like that soil does really well, but you're managing the tightness of it, the thickness of it all the time.
Makes sense, with the clay for sure.
Yeah. The other thing that was pretty deficient, like we were saying, was potassium.
Yeah, I saw the potassium phosphorus were low. So the fertilizer I went with was the Propete, the 1358, because I knew I wanted some of the nitrogen, and the 5.8 would give me, the potassium and the phosphorus. I did a bag of Milorganite early in the spring at the same time I did my pre-emergent. So that's got a little bit of the phosphorus in there, but no potassium. So, but so it's a little bit more phosphorus there too. And they're all slow release. So, it'll take time, but that was my thought there is, get something like that, like a balance one, to push those up a little bit.
Our lawn product, our Earthworks for Home lawn granular would also be a very good choice there. I mean, you'll see great response when you use it because of the compost that it's built with. So it's built with, that compost, which is a nice, even compost that puts out as much P and K as it does nitrogen. But then it's also bridged with ammonium sulfate. And what's interesting about the ammonium sulfate is that it'll have the ability to trump magnesium off the colloid, in that it's acidifying. It's an acidifying form of nitrogen. NH4 is ammonium. And so there's 4 hydrogens. And so it's putting a lot of hydrogen ions into the soil, which is acidifying.
Yeah.
And then it's also a cation that then is a stronger cation. It's a 3+ valence that pushes off the calcium or whatever's in excess, but it will even push off 2+ valence, which is calcium, magnesium. They're tight, but ammonium's even tighter. Potassium and sodium are 1+ valence. They're more loosely attached cations in the soil. You would say then that magnesium and calcium in this scale are kind of medium attached, and the ammonium, when that goes down from the A22, which is the Earthworks for Home garden granular, or lawn granular rather, the lawn granular, When that goes down, it puts out some ammonium sulfate on top of the compost. So you have the ability to mobilize nutrients both with chemistry, as I'm saying, from the ammonium, and also biologically from the compost, from activating that soil biology, from that high energy compost. So you get this biological response, which is also acidifying or certainly nutrient mobilizing. And magnesium is one of those nutrients that we're talking about. It just happens to be in excess in the soil, but
Yeah.
the plant needs it. The plant uses it. The whole microbiome uses it. It will be used as you grow and grow and grow that cover crop. So that's
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. That was awesome.
Yep. Let's pull up a different one here.
Yep.
This guy's from Iowa. He sent this in to us. This is Hawkeye Lawn. Actually, kind of similar right there. Is that the same one?
No, he's
Well-
got 80. He's got a little more calcium.
Gives more calcium, yeah.
Exactly. And actually the magnesium's kind of more ideal. You're right though by saying like in this situation phosphorus and potassium are also very deficient, the most deficient. So this would be another situation where also you said sodium's kind of high. It's high. But this would be another situation where certainly with an overseed, you'd want to get out with that garden granular, which is a 333 analysis. It has the mycorrhizae. Olee keeps saying this to me, and I talk about it this way too. But it's a biological starter fertilizer. That's what that Earthworks for Home Garden granular is. It's a starter fertilizer. At least in turf, think of it as a starter fertilizer. It's the product for any kind of establishment. But in this situation, it's also that nice even 333. So you're putting out a good amount of P and K, equal parts P and K. Getting the education. Yeah, go
I got
ahead.
a question right quick. All right, so your 333 is all organic. So it is more plant available. If you were, and can you do this? Just say you were compare it to 1010 at a box store.
Yes.
That's synthetic or whatever. How much more is the 333, I guess, available to the plant than that?
Well, good question. Yeah. I mean, so unfortunately, the 10-10-10 is a salt fertilizer or a synthetic salt fertilizer that when it goes out, it is so soluble. You're talking about availability, and it's easy to think about availability to the plant as like solubility in terms of take a spoonful of that 10-10-10 and put it in a cup of water and spin it around and it goes into solution, right? It's soluble. So when we think about solubility of a fertilizer, it's easy to think like, okay, that's super available and the plant can suck that up right away. But what happens because it is so soluble, it overloads the balance that nature works at keeping in that root zone. There's like homeostasis is the term, but nature's about balance. And that's something we learn in like biology with like diffusion and osmosis and all that stuff. And nature's like trying to make a balance all the time. So like a highly soluble fertilizer like that, you can get a quick response out of it, but it's awfully destructive to like the balance that you're trying to gain and maintain in that natural system.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of the difference between bioavailability and solubility. And I mean, just as a reference, like this is also a major conversation in like human supplements, in vitamin supplements. Like you often are looking at like well, what's the difference between the bioavailability of this as opposed to just the solubility? And like vitamin C, the difference, like you could see it in your pee, right? Like it could be super soluble, but it could be like running right through you.
Mhm.
It's kind of a similar situation.
Understood. I know that the other stuff has got a longer feed and, just takes longer to break down. And then at the same time, you don't get such a top flush to
Mhm.
where, that's a pain in the tail. And then also the last thing I'll say until we can get back to soil test is a bag like that has a lot of filler, such as possibly gypsum, rock, gravel, whatever,
Clay.
to
Kitty
fill the
litter,
bag.
Yeah.
To where something like what we're talking about has 100% usable product from top to bottom.
And it's investing, like you're saying, like you're paying dividends by investing into the soil, specifically with the mycorrhiza part of that, especially with the mycorrhiza part of that, because you're inoculating like a whole supportive fungal system that then like goes to work for the plant. That's what it does. It goes to work for the plant, and the plant shares energy. That's the symbiosis. Like the mycorrhiza is underground, so it's not getting photosynthetic energy, but the plant does that and gives it to it, and then the mycorrhiza goes to town, like mining nutrient, making moisture more available, making everything more lush. So it does that for individual plants, but then it also connects plants. It interconnects plants as well. That whole fungal superhighway, it stretches out into the root zone and accesses more soil, but it also attaches and interconnects plants to each other. So in that, the weaker part of your lawn can get shouldered by the area that has a more ideal growing environment, more ideal sunshine, airflow, moisture, so it's cool. And
Like
that
a
same thing happens through the landscape bed.
like a plant neuro pathway.
Bingo, dude. You got it. Like that's it. Remember in Avatar, like where like they grab like the head and connect the tentacle to like
Mhm.
the mother tree?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's like that.
I need to be able to connect
Oh,
with
man.
mine and see what, hey, what do you need water today or can I wait till next week?
There you go.
Because it ain't raining over here no more.
Mm.
Oh yeah, you've been dry.
I'm kind of at that point too. Not a lot here.
All right, so this is he only sent me this. This is Kenneth McClamrock, if I'm saying that right. A little tough to see.
Yeah.
All good.
If you make your screen bigger, you'll be able to see it, Jack. If you just click that full screen button.
I got it, man. I've been looking at these for 15 years. So let's see. This is a situation where calcium's actually a little low. So and magnesium is high. So this is kind of a cool, easy fix, really. Like getting some high cal lime out here, and it should show. It also shows up in the pH. You can see that like the calcium deficiency
low.
is
Yeah.
corroborated by the pH is less than 6.
Mm.
So the recommended high cal lime, which in this situation is going to be exactly a ton per acre, or 40 pounds per thousand. You could split that up over a couple apps. Again, always good to make these amendments if holes are open. Always ideal to make these amendment applications when holes are open. And if not, that's okay too. But that's kind of that's what I'm seeing here. The phosphorus is not too low. This would there's no indication that you need more phosphorus out here. or you don't need to focus on phosphorus. The for home lawn granular would be great on this soil. Let's see. Sodium's not high. Potassium's not low. It's not high either. It's borderline low, but not too bad. This is getting the calcium, getting a little bit of calcium down here and getting on a maintenance program. This soil will react very well.
So he's not doing too bad.
I agree.
Yeah. And that the other thing that I should say about soil tests are also that I love the way that you guys introduce this podcast and talking about next steps, like what do you do with the soil test? The soil test is a roadmap, you know. It's certain, and especially it's not a report card. You don't have to like judge yourself on the soil test, but it gives you an idea as to like, well, all right, what do I do? How do I react to my situation here? And it gives you a path as to like how to react to it.
So let's just say, you know, so far the soil tests we've looked at, each one has either kind of recommended some lime or some gypsum, something to kind of work with the contaminants and those sorts of things. If we do these things based on the recommendations of the test this year, would it be wise to then get a test again next spring? Should we see any significant moving of the needle on any of those one things, or are we talking this could take a few seasons to get real change going?
Great question. So everything you should look at as like a spectrum of change. You should first look at response from your lawn, response from the plants. Like, am I seeing, especially during stress times, like during the times where the make it or break it times a year, like, am I getting through those periods? So that's one thing to look at. I think you should soil test on an annual basis because it's an easy way to just check in, and you will see in that, especially over a couple of seasons.
And your outfit looks like a bush can.
walking bush can.
So you will see those changes happen on the soil test, yes. But, and you'll see them change over time. But, like, for example, changing the pH from 5.9 to 6.5 takes longer than changing the pH from 4.0 to 5.0. Like, when it's,
because you're more in that buffer zone,
Yeah, so like as the changes get more incremental, they'll take longer. When you have a lot of room to move, you can take bigger steps faster. And that especially with pH, that has to do with the actual acidity of the soil. Like, you're putting down a calcium carbonate, and if it's a super acidic environment, that calcium carbonate will react faster. If it's a somewhat acidic environment, it will react a little bit slower.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a question from Drunk Lawn Guy about how long can you let it sit? Let's see. How long will your sample be viable? Like, I guess he left it out for a week. It's all dry and crusty or whatever. Would that still be okay to send in?
Totally. In fact, the lab has to get the sample to a certain very low soil moisture before it runs the test. So it's okay.
As far as taking a soil test, if you've applied fertilizer, that will affect your results. So how long after applying a fertilizer should you wait before you pull samples so you don't get preels, undissolved preels?
That's a great question too. You should wait. I'd say a good 4 to 6 weeks after an application,
especially with the organic stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the organic stuff. The organic stuff, we won't swing things that hard on the soil test. But But even with that, yes, wait the good 4 or 6 weeks or so.
With
And
rain. With rain.
Yeah, with rain. The other thing is, especially if you're going to be doing annual tests, it's a good at that point, it's a good thing to do the tests at the same time of year every year.
Yeah, you want to be consistent and kind of get it where you're not seeing false fluctuations based on what you just applied, things like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Jack, do you recommend a spring test and a fall test, or do you think like spring after spring after spring? Like, are you actually going to move it that much within one season, or is it kind of more a year after year and look at a trend and a gradual move?
I think the year after year is probably the better approach for most people. If you're trying to learn something or figure something out specifically, especially if it's something that's more soluble, like sodium, like if you're trying to figure out a sodium situation, sodium's more soluble, so the changes will happen much faster. And that could be a situation where you're checking in, twice or more a year. But if you're trying to affect the calcium magnesium ratio, that's going to take a little bit longer. That's going to take more time, where you could just check in every year.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah. No, great. These are great questions.
so Brian, Nate, who wants to go next?
Brian,
Me.
I just
We can
walked
do
in.
one more
Brian.
before the,
Do it.
we can do one more before we do Lawn of the Week, and then
Yeah, buddy.
Sounds awesome.
We got a giveaway too.
oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna take names
then-
for that.
we got Nate's, and then we got Jason Smith in the chats to pull up.
Ooh.
So this is my first ever soil test. I've been in Utah 3
Nice.
years now, so it's a fairly new development, new land. So
Dude, that is great information. That's the other thing. Like, it's good to have some perspective going in here. This one's unique. This one's been different than all the other ones we've looked at. First of all, the pH is very high. Can we? The organic matter is non-existent. Can we put the sodium's high, the holding capacity is really high. Can we pull up the regular data?
yeah, let me share my screen.
yeah.
I got it up.
You got it.
Yeah.
I figured that would come in handy.
Because I think we're dealing with a calcareous situation here. All right, 8,600 pounds per acre of calcium. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, there's plenty of magnesium too. A lot, 1,500 pounds per acre of magnesium. A lot.
So I'm not going to talk for Brian here, but he is in Utah, so he does water a lot. I mean, not a lot, more than he needs to, but I mean, he has to rely on irrigation water a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
We use the city water more or less rather than rain.
Yep.
So
I think that's probably what we're seeing with the sodium at 100 pounds per acre. But this is like this is Western soil, difficult, difficult, calcareous or high mineral, because it's calcium and magnesium that are both and potassium. They're all very high. 1,000 pounds per acre of potassium. Wow. So what? So, and also, like you said, a new development, right?
Yeah.
Like it's also, I think, and especially with the less than 1% organic matter, it's all subsoil. Like this is, I feel like this is like dug from the earth and moved around. Like there was nothing growing in this soil before you were growing your lawn.
Yeah, we have a lot of basements, so they'll dig down to create the basement and then just backfill whatever dirt's left. So
right.
yeah,
Right.
it's unfortunate. I'm really concerned about the high pH on no organic matter, and then we got the holding capacity at 30.
It's huge.
You know, so barely.
And that's because that's
absorbs.
kind of like so that's kind of might be skewed by just how much nutrient the lab is finding, because that holding capacity is an equated number. It's the equation is how much nutrient have we found. If we found so much nutrient here, that must mean that the holding capacity is super high, right? Like, because there's the capacity to hold this much nutrient. But I feel like we're picking up like actual rock, like
Yeah, very
crushed up
rocky.
rock, mineral,
Yeah.
crushed up mineral, like the actual bedrock.
Okay.
So anyway, regardless, it's your growing medium. It's what you got, it's like
Mhm.
it's what you got there. And you can build organic matter, and you can build a topsoil, build humus. You can, your plants will do that work. Your plants and then the soil biology, it will do that work. This will be a very interesting lawn to keep to keep track of.
Would something like a top dressing for Brian to help bring in organic matter, would that be an option?
It would help. It would I mean, topsoil, because that's what happened in your development. Like
Why not just top dress with 333 and let root cycling build it, instead of bringing in
Ooh,
all the manual work and possibly weed seeds of topsoil?
there you go. That shit
You're
is
on it. I mean,
hard to spread.
Ole's on it. The guy's on it.
All right, I gotta
He's
get some
right.
333 now. So
There you go.
So when you're talking about that though, Olee, like, I mean, how much are you talking about putting down? I mean, like how many, pounds of the 333 per thousand?
If it was 343, I'd say 30, 40 pounds, possibly.
Yeah,
10,000.
you could do like 20, 25 pounds per thousand at, every as a heavy annual rate, or maybe biannual. Like, you could go heavy. But the other question is, what kind of plants are you growing, or what kind of turf are you growing?
Kentucky bluegrass.
Okay. Yeah. So good. I mean, the bluegrass is aggressive as aggressive as can be, grows a ton of roots, will do that root cycling work that you're talking about. Suck carbon dioxide from the air in photosynthesis and build humus in the root zone.
So what's the root cycling you're talking about? What is that?
Oh, that's just the notion of building a topsoil. Really, it's humifying is another way to look at it.
Roots constantly die and grow.
Okay.
As do the supporting biological system.
Sure.
Microbes, bacteria, fungi. They're like, their bacteria life cycles are like 20 minutes. And then, what we're after is like a graveyard of gazillions of dead microbiology. And
What about clippings?
yeah.
Do you bag, Brian?
Say it again.
Clippings.
I don't typically, because it always seems like it grows so fast I don't have a chance to mulch it back down, so I usually bag.
I mean, would discharging to the turf help him any, Jack?
It'll help somewhat, but clippings are really just mostly water and cellulose, and the plant structure that we're after for really building into humus is lignin, and that's more like the woody roots, and the thicker sort of. So clippings will help, but they're not. But bag them or don't bag them, like because they won't help that much.
So it sounds like maybe I'll just wait till aerate and then put down some 333.
That's the best move. Aerate 333 with which is the Earthworks for Home Garden product. And it is like, okay, it's a garden product? No, but it's also the biological starter fertilizer. And in this situation, in every situation, it is the soil building, application.
Yeah.
As is the lawn product. I mean, because because the lawn product is also all that compost and will make that plant grow like actively,
Mhm.
and that's what you really need is like you need the plant to be doing that work, and that's that root cycling that Ole's saying.
So for his pH, what are you thinking there with that? Because that's the main thing that jumps out to me here is a
Sure.
pH that high. And I mean, I know it takes a lot of work to move a pH. So
I don't see it moving either. Like not with the reserve and the backup of the calcium, magnesium, potassium that's there. It's going to be hard to move that pH. Like and the only ways of really doing it are changing the soil, like building a topsoil, and then letting nature gain that balance, get it into more balance, and that's kind of what you're looking at.
Interesting.
I think, yeah.
It's good to know.
You certainly don't want to be chasing after something that's like unattainable with something that could be destructive. And I guess like if you were to consider like hitting that with soluble sulfur with straight sulfur, it would be no good.
Well, you figured the question is, like you said, you don't want to chase a number. If it doesn't impact your lawn's looking good, don't worry about it. Essentially.
Yeah. That's right. Like you don't want to chase something that's unattainable, and like if you want to just let that plant do the work.
Lawn of the week.
All right, you know what that's music.
At time,
That
fellas.
sound means
This is our cue, Jack.
Take
All right.
Pause for a second. And Bill tells us all about lawn of the week.
Brian tells us too. He's got the sultry story time with Brian, but yes, it is KOTG Lawn of the Week. We're actually going to put Jack on the hot spot tonight. So for the uninitiated, keep off the grass. We love to see everybody's photos and reels of the lawns online. We're just as crazy about our grass as you guys. So if you're posting pictures, doing reels, use hashtag KOTG Lawn of the Week, and you'll be entering yourself into our weekly contest. We're all following that hashtag, checking it out, debating back and forth. We were actually doing that today. We couldn't settle on a winner for this week, so we're going to have Jack help us out. We got 4 finalists for Lawn of the Week. There's a lot of sexy lawns out there. There's a lot of guys who have won before and a lot of new guys, so it's hard. But yeah, so we'll pull them up, and Jack's gonna let us know. Let's
Jack.
debate a little bit.
No pressure, Jack, but it's
No
all
pressure,
riding on you.
So we got 4. We got 4. I'll skim through them all. I'll go back through them again. If you want to see another one, a closer look, let us know, and then you can make your decision.
Let's get after it.
first
Okay. I like it. Work very straight lines. Lasers, in fact.
stripes, Jack. They're stripes.
Okay,
Pretty good stripes in the shade.
yeah.
Number
All
2.
right, I like it too.
I like that right through the mailbox.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Dang, right through the fire pit.
That's the
Boy,
perfect area
that's a
to hang out.
contender right there.
That's a cool vibe. I like that.
If that picture there had a couple bush lights sitting on those chairs, then boom, had my vote.
It'd have to be Guinness to get
Jack's
vote.
That's a contender. All right.
Single doubles
Yeah, that's dark
with some heavy
Dark
contrast.
I like the color here. Yeah, the color is fresh. All right. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm going with my gut. And it's the Hans, which was number 3.
There you go.
Mm.
Nice.
All right. Okay.
Alex Hahn. Right on.
Yeah, that's a sweet little just nook. Just sit
It's-
there and stare at stripes and have a fire pit and crush beers right there.
Dude,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
marshmallows
it's a
for the
good
kids, beers for the dads. Yeah, man.
They were
Looks
all
clean
great
around the pit.
pictures too, by the way. Good angles. I like you got it right with the pictures. It's just a nice lawn.
Right on. Well, this is Alex is our next 2-time winner. He He won KOTG Lawn of the Week. I think
8 weeks ago.
yeah, a little while back. So another 2-time winner. That's pretty awesome.
That
So
is
what do they
awesome.
get when you win one of the Lawn of the Week, Bill? What do you get?
Oh, what do you get? You get eternal bragging rights. You get access to the KOTG Lawn of the Week Club, their exclusive Discord run by Drunk Lawn Guy El Presidente, and they also get their choice of Pro Pete fertilizer. Thanks to John and the good folks over there at Pro Pete. Anything available on Home Depot's website, 25-pound bag, whatever ratio, nutrient ratio, whatever grade, pellet size, and then their fossil product as well, their phosphorus. You can also get that too. So send a message to the KOTG group, and we'll hook you up. I think Brian will reach out, and I don't know how
Yeah.
we're getting all caught up on everybody.
No, we're a little behind. I'll get caught up this week, so I'm home. So
They like Brian to give them a list, and then they'll send out
10
bags at once. So
yep.
if you haven't gotten your bag yet, working on it. We'll get it to you.
Be
Oh,
patient.
hey, I
it's
see you're in the
coming.
chat.
Mhm.
So did you move all these chairs and then mow and then put them back, or did you? Because that looks really clean around there.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
He
he's
definitely moves.
you got to
his
stage
chair.
that
definitely.
photograph, man.
This is definitely an Instagram photo.
He's a pro, He knows you move them chairs, get them stripes, put them back.
Well, listen, you put the
And
work
he's
in, and it's
weeding
paying
around
off.
the fire pit. He's hitting it all for sure.
He probably got his Pro P a few weeks back, so he's. I don't know if he put it down or not.
And I'm definitely taking the chair at the bottom right corner because you're just sitting there staring straight at those stripes. That's
Mhm.
great. That's great.
What he needs to do is he needs to get that at just before sunset, where there's already a little fire going on at the pit.
Mm.
He could be in the chair, kids around him, whatever. That would be pretty.
I don't know. That pit would be perfect for some bullseyes.
There you go.
Ah, you could.
Yeah, you could do
You
that.
could start there and go
Sure.
around it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we want to get a wheel of names started?
You feeling up for it, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
You can get that.
Brian hasn't done it for a while. His fingers are getting the itch to get
Hey, I
it
did
going.
it was it last week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
last week.
I
Yeah.
got it
Oh, it was
last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it all. I'm got it all ready, so we just need to say what we're giving away and have people type it in. So what are we doing? What are we giving away?
It's a bag of 333.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting off real quick. So
Garden,
I need
which is
that.
the garden granular.
A bag
The
of
Michael
triple.
Babe.
Lassa.
And then a t-shirt that they had made up. I'm sexy and I mow it.
Nice.
I had the same one made up for my 40th birthday.
That's
All
awesome.
right. So if you want to win a bag of 333 Earthworks,
Earthworks for
granular,
home garden granular.
garden granular, and a T-shirt to show everybody you're sexy and you mow it, type in Earthworks, the number 4, and home. I made it a little harder for everybody. Earthworks
more
number
time.
4, home.
No typos or you're out.
Yeah, no typos. Yeah. All right, go for it, and then we can talk about other tests and stuff.
Yeah, we got Nate's and we got Jason's pull up. We can go to Nate's. Be interesting. So a lot of people, I mean, normally you don't mind if it's tight, but with your soil, it notice a lot of people got some tight soil.
Well, I got a
I was
question.
trying to hold that in for so long, but you couldn't do it.
Dude, when I was driving, I had so many thoughts
Just
going
been
on in my
waiting.
head.
Just been waiting.
So, a while ago you were talking about the soil being tight and talking about the H2O evaporating. So, whenever you started talking about that and you're talking about, you've just got that water in the top of the soil, just in the top, and it's evaporating. Would that not lead you to more drought stress and more hot spots in the lawn?
Yeah, because you're stacking more sodium. You're stacking more contaminant.
But what I'm looking at is basically you got a barrier and the water's going to set on here instead of going down into where you want it in the root zone.
Right. You've heard of deep and infrequent watering, like that.
Yeah.
That's the idea. You wanna do a flush, ideally.
Okay.
So yeah, that also mitigates that sort of stacking contaminants issue that you can get.
So you're trying to kind of maybe not fully saturate, but you're kind of, in a sense, you're saturating the soil so that it will continue to soak down before it has opportunity to evaporate, right?
Right.
Make
Like
sure it gets down in there and absorb further down, like Ole's saying, to kind of encourage deeper roots, and then that makes you a little bit more durable in between waterings too. Because I think these guys that have the irrigation going every morning, 15 minutes a zone, if they stop doing that, they're toast. But
because their
anyway.
roots are living up here.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. Because the plant will go where the moisture is. That's the other thing to consider there. You don't want to train the plant to only live in the top inch. You want deep rooting. So that's something to think about. Olee, I do have a question though, quick about it at your site there. You were telling me about just last week about like when you got back, you had like the areas where you were dealing with bedrock and limited root zone were struggling a little bit. You were gonna hit it with the liquid lawn,
Yes.
the Earthworks for Home liquid lawn. Did you hit that yet?
No, I got to get on that. I got sick last week, and it has sucked the life out of me.
Okay,
But,
well, you sound all right, bro. You sound
Man.
all right.
He done
You'll
got
make it.
that
Hey, you're
Obama
still
cron.
breathing. You're still breathing. So it's
Anyway,
okay.
I do want to hit those areas. And the second thing that I'm going to do is I was under regulation,
Right.
and I'm going to abort that project because we're not getting any rain. And I need it to grow and I need it to recover. So I need, but yes, I'm going to hit those areas with the hose in sprayer
Okay,
of the
cool.
lawn liquid fertilizer.
Right.
But now, like the garden liquid,
Yeah. C3.
will it help you flush some of the sodium we've been talking about?
Definitely. That especially, if you're trying particularly to flush sodium, that would be the great thing to put out the day before a rain.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew you had rain coming, great, flush that down into the root zone. Yeah, both though will just plain get a response from the plant. So when you're dealing with lousy growing conditions, you can get a quick response from the plant with both of those hose and liquids. Just
Here, let's
healthy.
get into Nate's real quick.
Just straight. It's just straight bush. It's just straight bush light.
That's my fertilizer right there.
Yeah,
Do you
right here's
do you remember that movie Idiocracy where
Oh,
they
yeah.
were they were feeding it like the Gatorade? They were feeding all the plants Gatorade because it's what plants crave.
All that stuff.
That's funny.
Oh man! All right. Let's see what we got here. Borderline low phosphorus. Over at soil compaction, fairly high calcium, magnesium, and that would mean a high pH. And looking there, it is over neutral. Sodium's quite high. 226 pounds per acre is pretty high. And again, this is probably a situation where it's tight and very difficult to flush sodium. So how would you describe your root zone, Nate?
Yeah, so I guess look at this. Like, if you go back, so my CEC over the last 3 years has came down from I think 24 to 22 to now to 20. So
Okay.
I see it gradually working down, and then my pH as well. The last couple of years I've been, I think it was like 7.9 or 7.8, and then 7.6. So I feel like things are kind of moving in the right direction.
Great.
But I think to your point with everything else with the magnesium and all that, it just takes forever to actually make it happen.
Right.
Aerating every fall. I've been doing gypsum. This would be third year now that I've done gypsum. So I mean, I'm trying to do that and kind of, like I said, I think it's slowly getting there. It might be a 10-year thing before I get it where ideal range. But like I said, I know last 2 years I did Waypoint, and then this year I did the Earthworks. So like I said, I feel like I'm seeing it move in the right direction. It's just, just like anything else, you want to put one bag of fertilizer down and you expect everything to move like that. But when your pH moves 0.1, you're like, damn, like, you know what I mean?
Jeez.
But basically, my plan, looking at this, has been obviously, like, with my potassium and phosphorus is low, so I have also been using any fertilizer that's got the P and K in it. So I'm using that, and then like I said, plan is to aerate in the fall, do all that stuff. I don't have irrigation, but I use sprinklers. That's kind of how
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, my CCs, like I said, they are definitely high. It's we're in Iowa. It's very common. I got a lot of clay. When I pull my sample, it's usually majority clay when I pull the sample.
Right. I mean, great soils for delivering nutrient and for holding on to nutrient, so like, yeah, really productive soil. Phosphorus and potassium are, like you're saying, it's good to focus on that, because especially phosphorus with that much calcium, magnesium around, it's hard to get phosphorus will easily tie up. So, but that is another major benefit in using the compost-based phosphorus in the 4-home granulars, either one, is that they're like what we were talking about before with solubility of the 10-10-10, that like it's very soluble. Well, a super soluble phosphorus in an environment like this is going to hit that calcium and magnesium and just tie up immediately, and that's a super tight bond. Like our bones and teeth, are a lot of calcium phosphate, and like you don't break down bones or stay bones, like, so like calcium, so calcium, phosphorus in a high calcium and magnesium environment can readily tie up. Now an active soil biology breaks those bonds, like a whole lot of biological processes will help break down even bones, even calcium phosphate. But so that this you would using the Earthworks for Home lawn product, and then when you do have holes open, using the Earthworks for Home garden product, garden granular, you'll get great response each time. You'll see something based on what the deficiencies that we're seeing here. You'll see a quick response out of those because of that bioavailability, particularly of phosphorus and potassium. And the sodium, it'll be work to buffer it out. But the more porosity and the more ability to get more internal drainage and percolation will push, you'll have the ability to push that calcium or that sodium away. You talk about calcium kind of over, to mitigate the sodium problem. The other nice thing about the granular products is that they do have a lot of calcium in them, a lot of soluble calcium, because that composted poultry manure they're from egg laying hens. So the hens are fed a lot of calcium to make strong eggshells. So what you get then is a lot of bioavailable calcium. So in that, it's kind of like putting out a gypsum map, at the same time, or there's certainly some soluble calcium there that's going down at the same time.
And that's in the H2 or the 333?
Both, because it's coming from the compost. And again, that because it is more of the quickly available, like soluble calcium, it's not the like mineral rock form that is more affecting pH and gonna be there like the same mineral that we're picking up off the soil test, lasting long-term mineral. It's more of a fertilizer. It's more of like a readily available, bioavailable form.
And the 822 has ammonium sulfate in it, correct?
Yeah, the 822 has ammonium sulfate in it. Oh, here's Hawkeye saying, yeah, he used that 822 in the spring, which is the Earthworks
Nice.
for Home lawn fertilizer, and got a really great quick wake up.
So, Jack, we've heard you reference a lot of the Earthworks for Home products. If someone was interested in buying that and using it, where can they get it at?
Oh, yeah, great. That's on our website,
Okay.
which is earthworks4home.com, for the number 4 home. So right there, you can get it and get it shipped right to your house. And we're also, like I'm saying, like it's starting to get into the retail space, garden centers. So you should be on the lookout for that. Also, especially you guys, stay close to me. Like if you know someone, or if you know places that would be interested in this, let me know. I'm available. So
Do you guys ship by the pallet? Because it sounds like Drunk Lawn Guy and I both are going to need a lot of 333. So.
we can work things out for sure. So yeah, no problem. We can work things out. Stay close to me on it, but it's available immediately and readily available, shipped to your house in a couple days, right on the website.
Maybe
Because
just bring my truck again to GIE and
yeah,
have you drive down a pallet, and we'll have to.
there you go. That's the move. Oh, you came over to Louisville as well, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, good
I was
deal.
the handsome one of the group. Yeah.
Mhm.
Bullshit.
Clearly, he remembers you.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I wasn't there this past year either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
Are you going this year?
That's with that mustache.
There it is. God, that's looking
That's
good.
what you may recognize.
Yeah, I need to bring
course.
that back. I can't wait. Next March, that baby's coming
God
back.
bless. About lost my breath.
It is a nice
Who's
mustache.
quick on
good
on the photos there?
Zach.
Oh, Jack's on top of it, man.
For some
Olee,
reason,
Olee, do
I
you
had
want
that
to
on
see?
here for a few weeks. For like,
Do you want to
couple
see that mustache at GIE this year?
I sure do. I need a
Get
laugh.
after it.
I think we should ask the chat. Like, should I rock the mustache to GIE? Yes or no? I
It's
wanna
gonna
hear
have
the
to
chat.
be. It's gonna have to be a
One
little.
100%.
It's
If
gonna have to be a
you
little
do it, I'll
pushier.
do it. I'll do it with you. We'll do it together.
Oh,
I'll
if
show
me and you
I'll
are
show
doing it, then
I'll
everyone's
show
got to do
I'll
it.
show you everything but the stat. Yeah. That's disappointed, Bill.
What about Brian? Brian, if we do that, you gonna rock it?
Rock the mustache?
Yep.
I probably could. Maybe I'll keep
man.
like the handlebar.
Yeah, the
or something
handlebars,
going
dude.
down.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Fu
dude. Listen,
Manchu?
if I can make GIE this year, I will absolutely have a mustache.
That would be spectacular if we all showed up with badass stashes
Dirty Sanchez is all of
Oh,
us.
dude.
all over.
I'll have mine up like twisted up. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
it's gonna be great.
I'm gonna have to
For
walk
the whole
around the
thing.
fly swatter just batting the ladies off of me. Damn. Get
Zach,
off.
can you grow a mustache? Can you
I mean, I can make it
feel like
happen.
every day.
will your
Oh,
work let
Zach.
you? Are you allowed to?
Yeah. I just
For a few
I get
days.
made fun of.
Don't we all?
All right.
That's
All
the
right.
point, man.
Maybe- so if we're gonna do that, then everyone in the chat that's gonna make GIE this year, we're just gonna do a full out like KOTG crew. And maybe we can make shirts with a big old mustache and just KOTG across it.
KOTG mustache meetup.
Do I need to go get my cardboard sign?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so we got so Brian's got to spin the wheel. We're gonna touch on Jason Smith's test, and then Bill's got a big announcement about next week who our guest is.
All right, let's do Jason's test real quick then.
You want to do that right now first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shoot.
Yeah, Well, I could spin it while you're pulling it up if that's what you want to do.
No, I got it.
Okay.
So he said he attached results from 3 labs. He used Earthworks for Home, Logan Labs, and my state soil test lab. But Logan Labs is this. Earthworks uses Logan Labs, though,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
that's right. That's right.
So it's only 2 tests, I guess. But
Well,
he
that's
said
good.
all
We
of
can
them are
look at
very
all.
similar, except for the saturated paste test from Logan Labs, which has very different results.
All right, let's check it out.
The saturated paste test highlights how the form of sodium I have in my soil interacts with water to dominate the C percent to drive out other nutrients. The growth and overall appearance of the lawn was consistent with the results of the saturated paste test. And he's
All right.
So
Jason goes in all out. So just go ahead and tell you, Jason
All
is
right,
the
that's
type
cool.
that goes all out.
Saturated paste is is another level of testing. So but yeah, we could talk about that.
so this is his. I just realized it's the wrong way.
Just sideways. Be all right.
That's all right.
Everyone's turning their head right now.
He ain't had enough Guinness. He'll be all right.
Hold on now.
Man,
Let's
like
see.
everything is
I mean,
dead on
it,
right in the
yeah,
middle.
it's all right in
Yeah.
the middle, almost everything.
little
Sodium's
excess
up at-
sodium, but
Yeah, 50 pounds per acre, which is high, but it's like not crazy.
Not
crazy,
126.
crazy. Yeah,
So he's worried
exactly.
about the sodium, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we have how much potassium's there. I see the base saturation, but holding capacity is 10.3. So 3% base saturation of potassium. There's probably a good 250 pounds per acre of sodium. So his sodium or I'm sorry, potassium, 250 pounds per acre of potassium. His potassium to sodium ratio isn't that bad. Do you have the next test?
Yeah, but it's sideways again. I didn't even know that until now.
It's all good, dude. That's fine. Yeah, 270 pounds per acre.
You turning your head. Turn your computer.
Okay.
There you go, Bill.
This soil test is not too far out of whack. Pretty strong phosphorus, pretty strong or very strong organic matter. Sodium is certainly there, and it will pose a problem in the super evaporative time of the year in the summertime, but not a major, not too far out of whack. Okay. The paste, he talks about like that the sodium is probably showing up to be super soluble, and it is. It's way more soluble than calcium, magnesium. Potassium should also be soluble, but it's really more soluble than potassium. But But do you have the paste, Zach?
Yeah, let me see here. Yep, right here. And it's loading.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Try to turn.
So 4.5 parts per million of sodium and only 2 parts per million of potassium. And very little mobility of calcium, magnesium. Chlorides are 19. Like this is really the only thing. This is all very funny looking at everybody. The only thing that the recommendation I make for this soil test, looking at both looking at everything, the standard, the paste. Whoa, right.
Hey,
Hey,
Look at that magic.
Pretty quick, huh?
look at that on the fly.
big
Learn
magician
something?
guy.
I mean, okay, so what I'm saying is the only recommendation I really make off of this is that you can increase mobility. Like the paste is showing kind of limited mobility of what should be a pretty active soil. There's a whole lot of potential shown on that standard test, on that standard soil test, that get a more active microbiological system. Work on really activating that whole soil system, and access more of the nutrients that are in the soil. That being said, I bet that Jason's lawn is very nice. Like, if he focuses and does a lot of the right things, then he's battling through the times of year where this amount of sodium and solubility compared to everything else, won't be too difficult.
All right.
Very cool.
Cool. Yeah, it's a good looking soil test.
That's nice. Yeah, I'm a little jealous of that, man. I'll come out and dig up some of that.
Yeah,
All
I'll be
back to
real
Utah.
interested to follow up on yours, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, how's your lawn right now?
It looks good
Good.
compared to everybody else, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah, you are definitely, and so and you'll build a better soil out of growing a strong turf stand. Like growing the strong turf stand will do the work of building that topsoil.
Yeah, I'm excited to get some 333 and get it started and see how long it takes. So
Excellent.
stay tuned.
Excellent. Thanks, buddy.
Are you saying that growing good turf is good for the environment?
Totally.
Who knew?
Totally good for the
You're
environment.
creating better soil. Okay.
You're
Right.
creating better soil, and like it's a carbon sink. Like that soil then is a carbon sink. It's sucking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and drawing it down into the soil and making that carbon a topsoil and storing it there to be useful, to be
And then
better.
it produces, in return, it's producing us oxygen, correct?
Bingo, dude, producing us oxygen. And then also, like, in it, also it's transpiring, so it's taking soil moisture and pulling it up through the plant, and then like transpiring moisture out into the air. So that then is a very cooling process. And that's like the difference of you walk out into the middle of your lawn on a 90-degree day, and if you have, let's say it rained 2 or 3 days prior and there was good soil moisture and all those plants are just kind of growing and thriving and pulling that moisture up through the plant and out into the air, that 90-degree day is much more temperate and tolerable in your backyard than it is at the Target parking lot, like where you don't have that life, or even in a fair comparison, on like a weedy, patchy, lousy lawn that's not really growing. You're much hotter on that lawn than you are on a lush, like really actively growing lawn.
So the good things, and I like knowing these to hit back the haters that go, oh, you got, lawns suck. Manicured lawns suck. So the first thing is you're controlling erosion because you have a good root system.
Bingo.
And then everybody goes, oh, you got all kind of runoff. Well, not necessarily, because I got healthy soil that is willing to take up the water, and I've got turf there to slow down the water.
And turf to take it up. I mean, the turf
to take it up. It's not running. It's not running off.
No way.
And then, like you were saying, actually, the turf. You were telling me something about the turf actually cools the earth too.
Well, that's what I'm saying about like this water. It's an evaporative cooling process. Like
instead of the sun just beating on bare dirt somewhere or concrete.
Yeah. What do you say, Bill?
It's like when you're sweating or whatever, that water, that evaporation is cooling off your skin. So the same process here. That's why, your lawn feels cooler than your driveway when you're outside. So you just tell those hippy dippies that we're bringing down global warming with our lawns. One mow at a time. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The alternative is patchy, weedy grass. It's not going to be like this open prairie with a butterfly sanctuary. It's going to be some shitty, patchy, dirt-filled, some dandelions. That's about it.
One thing I want to say right quick, back to the top dressing situation. I had a Eco Lawn top dresser, you know, the big Purdy blue machine with the belt driven, the paddles. And I was so gung-ho to top dress and improve like this place. You know, when it was built, they scratched all the topsoil off. The CECs are low, you know, whole 9 yards. So I'm digging, learning about this stuff. When you talk about doing that, it's a lot of work. You got to go buy the compost. You hope it's clean. It's not full of garbage. You got to have it trucked. Then you got to load it in the spreader. And then you got to go out and spread it. And then hopefully you don't make your yard uneven or you fight with that thing all day. That thing was a headache. It did not spread well at all, no matter the material. That's when I started learning about 343, 333, 822. And I was like, this is a no-brainer. Everybody's got a push spreader. They can put it on wide open gate, and they can top dress with something that will build them topsoil in the future. You don't make your lawn unlevel, and you're also growing and doing the whole root cycling. So the Eco Lawn was sold, and I never care about that again. So I know a lot of people just like me watch video and goes, that's the coolest thing ever. I want to buy a bunch of compost. I'm going to spend 4 days out there in the yard. Then I'm going to have to rake and then blah, blah, blah. You don't need to.
No.
The only reason why I would maybe say Brian could be a candidate for top dressing is because his lawn's so small, is that he could probably get a couple bags. He could probably just get bags and he could put it down and he could just rake it in.
But I don't think he would get the same effect as something like this that will actually feed feed the biology, feed the plant. You don't have to worry about making things uneven. You don't have to worry about raking. You got a push spreader.
I'm getting a little bit older, so
I'm still older than you.
Easy route.
I'm still older than you.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Jack.
Better spin that wheel then.
How many names are getting that wheel, Brian?
Well, let's take a look at it.
What kind of tune we got for us tonight?
We got 31 names.
All right.
in there.
All right. We better have 31 likes.
And I see our magic number there. It seems like we hit 31 a lot for entries, which is awesome. All right, so I'm going to shuffle it 3 times, and then we'll see. So this is for the bag of 333 from Earthworks, and a shirt for Sexy and I Mow It. Go full screen here.
You want to do 2 different people or one person get both?
What do you guys think?
That's up to y'all.
Yeah, do one.
One person, yeah. I think they can wear the sexy
winner takes all.
Sexy shirt while they're spreading the 333. How's that?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like
all
that.
Right.
Winner takes all.
From the back.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
There he is.
Yeah, I'm back.
You back on 66?
Man, that's a long time.
I know that's good. That lucky green stripes is gonna win.
Look at that.
That's done.
Finger.
Boom.
There it is.
Like it.
Yeah.
Right up there in the Finger Lakes. Finger Lakes lawn.
2
Love
seconds. 2 seconds too long.
Oh, that's what his account is? Oh, I thought something else.
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, well, congrats.
Little 333. Nice.
Wow.
All right, Bill. What we got going on next week, Bill?
Ooh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm pumped. We we've had a lot of great guests on the show before. Folks like Jack and different fertilizer companies and some equipment companies we've had on.
Thank you, Bill.
Going back and forth with Toro for a while, and we finally got them committed. So they're going to be here next Tuesday. Two of them are going to be joining us. They got somebody from their sales side, kind of the marketing side, and then somebody from their more engineering, manufacturing side. I don't know who they are yet, but they will be joining us.
Did you guys hear that? Toro is
Toro's
coming
coming
on
on.
the show next week.
Yeah, man.
How about it?
I'm pretty pumped.
Dang.
Bill,
I
what
think
do
they
you
got
behind
some.
you there?
They got some exciting things they're doing this year. So this is a good opportunity for them to come on and maybe talk about some new stuff, and then ask them some questions. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
They're almost as cool as Jack, but we got them to come on.
Brian, you're the best, dude. Thank you.
No, Jack, you'll have to come back.
No, we love these episodes,
We
man. I
could do
love
this
the deep
again. We
dives.
could do this
All
in the
right.
fall.
Thank you, guys.
What would be
No,
cool is to definitely come back once these fellas make some applications,
Yes.
possibly retest
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
what has
perfect.
improved. Like I like doing a test once a year, and I like being able, like me and you, to shoot the bull and look at what's changed compared to last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Like I want to hear about when you hit that weak root zone area, that limited root zone area above the rock. Like, let me know what you see out of it.
I definitely will. I'll get some
Yeah.
videos.
Or and fill in the rest of the guys, even if I'm not on. Like let everyone know what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I say, I'm forfeiting the regulation part now because we're not getting the rain, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to see it being regulated, and in wounded, it's not a good mix. So
This sounds like a guy that just wants to cut some grass. Like, get me on that mower. I just want to cut some grass.
Yeah, he does.
just trying to learn about it, and it's eating me alive.
No, if it's not growing, you can't cut. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. Get after it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Jack, we definitely appreciate it. As you can see in the live chat's going crazy. They're all appreciating your knowledge. A couple of people are going to come back and rewatch. So thank you for coming on, dropping all that knowledge on our
Absolutely.
tests and some of the viewers' tests. Definitely
Thank you, Jack.
combination.
Who's planting a
Yeah.
garden this year?
All right.
Jack is.
There you go. Hit
Lot
the
of
garden. Hit the garden first. Hit the
I'm
garden
planting some
first.
flowers.
Yeah, dude. Hit the garden granular. That makes a huge difference.
That's what I did. That's
All right,
what I
great.
did.
And put it to the test. Also, like use a control. Do something against it.
No, I
Take
didn't
some
do
pics.
that.
All right.
it's
right,
so
guys.
hard. Like, no, I gotta use it for everything.
You're the farm
Yep.
guy, man. I was expecting.
Yeah, right. You think, right?
Come on.
I can't bring myself not to.
It's all good. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Jack.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks everybody in the
Jack.
chat, man.
See you
Thanks
next
for joining
week.
us tonight.
Toro.
All right.